Hi guys, thought I would jump on and make a video about something that I get asked very regularly in the bike shop I work at and by other friends who are cyclists, and that is lights. It can be a minefield because you have stuff like this which is 180 quid and half the review pages are going to ram it down your neck and say you need it, when in reality, do you? Maybe not. So let's start talking through the steps, what you're going to need and why. First things you need to assess is what riding are you doing. Is it on the road? Are you mountain biking at night? Are you gravel riding? So the reason this is important is because there's two categories of lights. Do you want to be seen or do you need to see? If you need to be seen, something like this, this is a B2M1, £4.99. If you need to be seen, that is going to do a perfect job. However, if you are in a dark area that doesn't have any lights, that is essentially redundant, because it will not give you a path. It's not got a nice beam pattern to shine bright anywhere. So when I'm cycling on the road on my own from work, yeah, perfect bit of kit. It's not in the way. It's not sort of intrusive on cars either, because you know cyclists do irritate cars sometimes with the beaming lights, and you know it's not the best. If you're mountain biking, you're off road, or part of my commute actually is I can do it like down a canal path. That's when I start using this, because it has 1500 lumens, which, yeah, probably a little bit overkill, but it shines an incredible pattern, and you can see there the camera is just solely focused on that itself. So if you are going somewhere where it's dark and you need a path illuminating, that is where you do need to start spending extra money. If you are mountain biking off-road at night, you need 1000 lumens as a bare minimum, and that doesn't mean, you know, some of these lights on eBay claim to be 1000 lumens are about £8.50. Don't put yourself through it. It's pointless. You've got brands Lesign, Cat Eye, even B2M do some decent stuff out there. You've got shops in the UK like Planet X that sell 1000 lumen lights for, I think the last time I saw one it was 12 quid. If you go to a reputable bike source, that's going to be better than anything you're going to find on eBay with a random name on it, and that's just claiming to have a million hours run time, 10,000 lumens, and it'd be about, what, 2 quid? I mean, it's there's a bit of an exaggeration there, but you understand what I'm getting at. You need something from a reputable brand and something that's important. So with front lights, it is very simple, but there is another thing to consider, and that is modes. So when I'm on the road with street lights, which a lot of the street lights in my area are now LED as well, so it makes it very easy to see. So my main goal then is to be seen. If I'm wearing dark clothing, I don't want cars near me. Realistically, I want to be seen at all times. Then something like this is okay, but it only has that singular mode. This is £4.99 for a rechargeable light. So what I would then do is I would run a pair. I would run this as a base light to see. I'm just turn this on at the side there, and you can see there this has a few different modes. I tend to go with that one purely because I read some case studies many years ago in Cycling News that tends to irritate people less, and my main goal is to not annoy those people in giant metal boxes that can put us in danger. So this is where I'd come into running a pair on the road so that I can be seen. This is when modes become quite important, because as you're coming down that way and cars can be driving towards you, if you're on narrow roads, even if you're in the opposite side of the road, you know, it's an unpredictable time. It's this with its one mode isn't that noticeable. It's definitely going to make sure you're seen, and 9 out of 10 drivers are going to see it. But that one that isn't paying that much attention, if you've got someone on the front of your bike flashing, he's going to see you. So next I'm going to take my bike out, we'll go up onto the trails, or maybe just on the path at the top of near where I live, and I will show you the difference between £4.99 and 180 quid. So I just wanted to jump on for you, give you a bit of thought I'd come out in the dark and give you a bit of a demonstration. When we talk about the categories of to see or to be seen, this is the cheaper light, and you can see the beam coming off that. If there's a car coming at you, they're going to see it. You can't be missed. However, if you look at it from the different view behind the bike, in terms of illuminating the trail, or the path or the road, it isn't doing all that much. So if we then switch to the expensive light, you can see now it's a no-brainer which you'd rather have when you need a path. You need to know where you're going. So as I say, if your only goal is to be seen and you are on a nice street lit ride the whole way home, the cheap light will suffice. I'm not one of these people who say you need to spend loads of money, because you don't. That was $4.99, does the trick. However, it will not illuminate the trail enough for you to ride with it. So, last but almost most importantly in my eyes, rear lights. These are imperatively important for being seen, hence why they tend to be red. There's a few weird ones on eBay stuff that are blue. Do not buy those, they're just going to get you in trouble. You can't have any flashing blue light on a vehicle, whether it be a bicycle or not. So, why is this so important? If you imagine we've all been on single lane country roads, that national speed limit, and the cars are flying about, that is going to make a hell of a lot of difference for you being seen. It can be the difference between you staying on that bike and you having connection with that car. I always run 2 rear lights. I have one that flashes in this mode, and then I have one in a steady mode. Now the reason for that is more, I'm not constantly looking behind me, so if one dies I've got a safety there, but also it's nice to have that solid red. Almost emulates a brake light from a distance, so if the cars see that, it's almost ingrained in the brain. See a red light, slow down. This is an area where you don't have to spend big. This is the Cat Eye Orb. These retail at 12 quid, or last time I checked they were 12 quid, maybe slightly more, slightly less now. Runtime is 50 hours on 2 CR2032 batteries, which you can buy a pack of for a quid. You buy 10 or 15 of them for £1. And it's a quality light. It's a metal construction. It's not going to break easily. It's got those modes as well, and modes on the back, in my eyes, are even more important than those modes on the front, for the reasons that we've discussed. When those cars are hurtling about at 70 mile an hour, we want to be seen, and we need to be seen. So next I will show you where I mount these on my bike, because some people put them in places and it's a little bit sort of redundant if they're mounted in a completely sort of strange place. So this is where I have my rear lights. One on the very back of my rack. So it is, the most important thing is try and have it on the furthest point back on the bike that you can, obviously not including the wheel, unless you run spoke lights, not my thing. But and then another one on the seat post. If I can get to the power button there, which is on the bottom because I've put it on upside down. So it's even in the light of the workshop. That gives you plenty of visibility. So to me, the most important bit to take away from that would be try and mount it on the furthest point back on your bike that you can, whether it be a rack. If your seat post is the furthest point back, fair enough, but just with mine there, I've got a lot of stuff on the back that can obscure your view. Sometimes I'm running stuff on top of here as well. It's quite important to me to have that little one on the back there. So next I just want to make a bit of a controversial point, but I'm going to make it anyway. I'm sure if you're in the UK and you've been dragged around the local shopping centre on a Saturday, you've probably seen this. It's from Pound Shop, in terms of dollar store if you're American. It is literally £1 for a bike light. Now a lot of people would say put that in the bin, there's no place for it. However, I'm not inclined to agree, purely because, one, given the current economic state, but more than that, if you are a young kid starting off maybe, or just somebody who doesn't have all that much money to spend, bikes in themselves are expensive. Even a basic commuter rig these days is going to cost you 500 quid. So if your only option is this, I would rather you have this than nothing at all. Granted, this is still in the packaging. It was I bought it solely for the purpose of the video. I'm probably never going to use it. But if you are in a position that you're using your bike to save money on fuel and stuff, and you can't afford than to spend a bit more money on cat eye, design, stuff like that. Spend the quid. It's £1 and it's going to do more than nothing, which is the important bit. Controversial, I know, because a lot of people will just say, nah, it's crap. And yeah, it probably is, but is it as crap as nothing? No. So yeah, I do fall a bit on the controversial side of that and say it does have its place. I grew up without all that much money, so something like this to me is dear to my heart. I probably went through a million of these when I was a kid, which defeats the object, but that's what kids do.